सर्वधर्मस्थापकत्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो Ramakrishnaaya te namaha. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, the greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. Sri Ramakrishna concluded his meeting with Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar in our previous reading. And towards the end, Sri Ramakrishna taught us about the knowledge, the difference between the jnani and the vijnani, the difference between a knower of Brahman and the ultimate knower, that is the vijnani. Like Sri Ramakrishna gave that example, the jnani, he has reached the roof, he has attained the Brahman by saying neti, neti. Now he says, aham brahmosmi. He says, saha aham, soham, soham. But Sri Ramakrishna says, the vijnani, who is the ultimate knower, he has truly realized the essence of what this whole thing is about. The vijnani has known that the roof and steps are made up of the same materials, that what we call as Brahman, the ultimate Paramatman, that same Brahman is pervading, is manifesting through the entire creation, through these diverse beings. And then he starts seeing one in all. For him, the duality has vanished. There is no Brahman separate above in the sky and the creation down. No. The Vijnani says Brahman is everywhere. Whether I am seeing a dog or a cat or a man or a woman or a flower or a tree or anything in this creation for that matter, whether it is a stone or a boulder or a mountain or a valley, everything is pervaded by Brahman according to the Vijnani. And then Sri Ramakrishna says that the best way to know about God, to know about Brahman, is the process of devotion. He told us that the process of knowledge, that calling I am God, was okay for the rishis of the yore, for the rishis, sages of those old times, who could easily dissociate their senses from the sense objects. We can't do so. While sitting in the shrine, if our eyes see the plate of sweetmeats being offered as prasads, suddenly we start feeling, oh, after the puja, after the worship, I will have the great pleasure of eating those sweetmeats. Our senses, we cannot take out from the sense objects. The eyes, we cannot take out from those objects which give pleasure to the eyes. We always like to hear good things, not always about God, although we should be listening to things only about God and the divine and the spiritual. But we also hear so many things. We cannot dissociate our sense of hearing from those sounds. Rishis of the yore, they could. So Sri Ramakrishna says, instead of saying, I am God, like those rishis, it is better to say, I am the servant of the God. It is better to say, I am the child of my mother. It is better to say that I am the closest friend of my dear Lord. I am the servant of my master. Take up that attitude and develop that devotion, that love. And then Sri Ramakrishna also told us that as one moves ahead on this path of devotion, whether path of devotion or path of knowledge, we start, as we start coming nearer towards our final goal, towards our ultimate goal, Sri Ramakrishna says slowly our duties start falling off. The Lord lessens our duties. Today, if I am doing 8 hours of work, if I am nearing my ultimate goal, if I am nearing my salvation, if I am nearing my ultimate nirvana, God will see to it that the duties are reduced. And then he gave that example of the pregnant housewife. When she's carrying, automatically her duties in home, they keep coming down. When she's in the advanced stage of pregnancy, even the duties are much lessened. And then when she gives birth to a child, nothing, no other work than attending to her beloved kid, beloved infant, beloved baby. That is the only duty that the mother has to do. So Sri Ramakrishna says that take up this path, move forward, go forward. And then slowly all these duties will fall off. You will only reach the ultimate goal. So that was about our previous learning from Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. Now today almost 1 week has passed since 5th August 1882 when Sri Ramakrishna had that visit meeting with Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Now today what we are going to read is 13th August 1882. And one of his very close devotees, disciples from Dhaka, Mr. Kedar, he had organized some kind of a religious spiritual festival at the temple garden of Dakshineshwar. He had organized some musical fest, he had arranged for one musician to come and sing devotional songs, and everybody was extremely happy on that day. So Sri Ramakrishna also thoroughly enjoyed the music of that musician. And then Sri Ramakrishna, as usual, I mean, he has taken birth in this form of initiation just to teach. He, whether through spoken words or through touch or through his glance, he has been teaching his disciples and devotees about how to reach God. That is the ultimate objective as far as Sri Ramakrishna is concerned. Now, Sri Ramakrishna says that he started explaining to all these devotees who had gathered in his room about the secret of communion with God, secret of meditation on the God, secret of being one with the God. And Sri Ramakrishna says, with the realization of Satchidananda, one goes into samadhi. Then the duties drop away, like he had told to gathering at Pandit Ishwar Chandra's place also. Duties, they start dropping away once realized Satchidananda. And then Sri Ramakrishna says the ustad who was there to sing the devotional songs. Sri Ramakrishna says, suppose I have been talking about ustad. I have been talking about Ustad, and he arrives. I am talking to devotees about Ustad. Oh, he's such a wonderful singer. He's like this, he's like that. And Sri Ramakrishna says, suppose if the Ustad arrives in my room, then I did not talk anything about him. Then the Ustad in person is there to meet the devotees. They can get to know anything from him, whatever they want about to know about him. Then I did not speak at all. Here is Ustad, here are devotees. Okay, you ask him whatever you want. Let the question answer session begin now. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna says. Once having attained to Satchidananda, I need not start talking about him. So Sri Ramakrishna says, so long as, suppose I have been talking about Ustad and he arrives, what is the need of talking about him then? And then he gives the same example. How long does the bee buzz around? That is this example he had given when talking about Adi Shankaracharya's coming down from those higher planes after realizing Satchidananda and still teaching people about the Lord. So Sri Ramakrishna says he had given the example of a bee buzzing. He had told that bee buzzes till the time she is not comfortably sitting on the flower and sipping the honey. Once she sits on the flower and starts sipping honey, the buzzing sound just stops. And then he had told that intermittently we may hear buzzing sound even while sipping. That is when these great souls, they bring down their minds from those higher planes to the lower planes, and then they start describing in whatever little words they can about the glories of the God. They can't describe the God, they can't describe Brahman, but they sing the glories of the God. That is like a bee buzzing while sipping honey. So long as it isn't sitting on a flower, she will keep on buzzing, that bee. But it will not do for sadhaka to renounce duties. Sri Ramakrishna says, a sadhaka, a person who is aspiring for the spiritual salvation, he cannot stop his duties at all. The worldly duties may drop off, but the spiritual duties will continue. And what are those duties of the sadhaka? What are those duties of these spiritual aspirants? Sri Ramakrishna says, the duties such as worship, such as japa, such as meditation, such as contemplation, prayer, pilgrimages, these are all the duties for the spiritual aspirants. They will continue. The worldly duties may lessen. Like the pregnant lady when she delivers a baby. She won't do any other household work. She will only attend to her baby. The spiritual aspirant will only attain to these spiritual tasks that he is bound to do. Continuously repeating the name of the Lord, chanting the name of the Lord, doing japa, singing the glories of the Lord, doing sadhan bhajan, doing kirtan, doing satsang, talking about God. All these things, they will continue, Sri Ramakrishna says. And then the musician was also sitting there. He was highly pleased. Sri Ramakrishna was highly pleased with his singing. And then he told him one thing that is very pertinent. Sri Ramakrishna told him that there is a special manifestation of God's power in a man who has any outstanding gift. Sri Ramakrishna always admired these artists, those who could sing well, those who could paint well, who could draw well. Sri Ramakrishna had great admiration for these people because Sri Ramakrishna says that there is a special manifestation of God's attributes in such person who are good at something. And then Sri Ramakrishna says that there is a special manifestation of God's power in a man who has any outstanding gift, such as proficiency in music, proficiency in acting, proficiency in drawing. Sri Ramakrishna says these kind of people, they are highly, representing the Lord. They have got that special manifestation that God has provided in them. So that was Sri Ramakrishna talking to all these devotees on 13th of August 1882. And this musician towards the end asks Sri Ramakrishna that, "Sir, what is the way to realize God?" Now Sri Ramakrishna says, all you need to realize God is bhakti, the devotion, the love, the faith. This is most essential thing to realize God. To be sure, Sri Ramakrishna says, God exists in all beings. Like the roof and the steps, they are all constructed of the same materials. God exists in all beings. Who then is a devotee? Who then is a God? But then, he whose mind dwells on God is a devotee. The person whose mind constantly dwells on God, continuously contemplating on the name and glories and form of God, or even the formless God for that matter, he is a devotee. But this is not possible as long as egoism and vanity exists. These two are impediments. These two are extreme impediments, the blockages or to become a good devotee. The egoism, vanity, high-headedness, me and mine, these are the major obstacles. Sri Ramakrishna says, the water of God's grace cannot collect on the high mound of egotism. Now, if there is a big, huge mountain like this, and when it rains, the water doesn't get stagnated on that higher portion of the mountain. It flows down. So he says, with the egoism, the devotion doesn't stay there. It just goes down. Only in the lowly, only in the humble, only people with humility, only people who are very calm and at peace. There the devotion sprouts. There the devotion stays. Water will get flooded at the base of the mountain, but not on the steep, Sri Ramakrishna says. It runs down. The devotion runs down for an egoistic person. It doesn't stay with the person. And take the attitude, I am a mere machine. I am not the doer. What Sri Krishna also told in the Gita, that take up this attitude, I am not the doer. I am just an instrument in the hands of the Lord. I am just an instrument in the hands of the mother. Then you can become a great devotee, and then is the possibility for one to realize God. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. And towards the end, he again reconfirms the fact that God can be reached through all the faiths. It is not that just devotion, provided you are true to that path. Don't take up the path haphazardly. Don't take up the path just because someone has told you. Take up the path with full conviction. Take up the path where you really belong to. Whether it is a path of devotion, that is bhakti, whether it is a path of knowledge, that is jnana, whether it is a path of yoga, or whether it is a path of karma, the fulfilling the duties. Do everything wholeheartedly without any selfishness attached to it. Don't get into devotion for getting riches, for getting, I want this, I want that. No, that devotion doesn't work. Don't do the karma with the intent of, oh, let me get good money, let me get big name and fame. No, do karma selflessly. Gain jnana. Gain jnana not to show off your panditagiri, not to show off your wisdom, not to show off how many shloka and how many verses you can rattle off from the Upanishads and the Vedas. No. Gain jnana for your own self-realization. So Sri Ramakrishna says, take up any path. Take up any path and stick to it with the selfless intention. The objective, after all, he says, is to reach roof. Now, I may reach the roof by climbing the stairs. I may reach the roof by putting up a ladder. I may reach the roof by putting a rope and climbing the rope. Our objective is to reach the roof. Whichever path we take, we should follow it sincerely, honestly, with great humility and with selfless interest. With no selfishness attached to it. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna's advice to the householders on this 13th of August 1882, after that wonderful religious festivities were being enjoyed by Sri Ramakrishna and all the devotees at the Kali temple Dakshineshwar. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.